Good morning, my friends, and how are you? How did we survive Christmas? We had a very fun Christmas show, kind of impromptu yesterday. Lots of laughs, lots of laughs. Woo! It was a ton of fun. Had to cut it a little short because, well, Christmas came a calling. So, how did we survive? I'm actually surprised we have this many in here this morning, even though it's an extremely important topic with an extremely important guest. But it is the day after Christmas, and a lot of people took today off and they're like, I'm going to sleep in, get this buzz out of my system, and try to put off this mess. Meerkamp said we survived. Diva's in, she survived. True Crime Beat. The very talented Jude made it in. Slim Shady, Radio Gaga, how are you, girlfriend? Shep made it in. Hey, Jack from Tennessee. Dolores. Canvas and Crime. I'm actually drinking coffee out of your cup right now. Betty H. Hello. Jules with her new kitty made it in. So glad you're here. Slim even said, mark me as safe. First, I'm going to play for people that didn't see the video I put up last week. Y'all had a lot to say about this. A lot. We had a ton of people in this premiere. Well, we are very blessed because we have the hero in the story with us today. Let's take a second and tell everyone hola, hello, how you doing? And we're going to get to it. Thank you again for being here. I know how the day after Christmas is. All right, let's do a recap to refamiliarize ourselves with, well, what we're going to be talking about today. It is a very scary situation, and it's really hard for us all to wrap our minds around. Here we go. This is from my channel from last week. You're going to see me and you're going to hear my big mouth. I am not on the news. The backyard and the inside looks like a normal house. This is the kind of housekeeping that would make Candace Wells proud. But anyway, what's been going on in this house is beyond horrible. 9 children have been hidden in this house for umpteen years. And, well, wait till you find out who some of them, who their mama is. I'm going to call this segment Today in Oklahoma. Way to go, making me proud. All right, today in Oklahoma, 2 hours ago on the Oklahoma City News, this was released. Bear with me because it is hard to listen to.
Secrets and abuse. In August, Oklahoma City police got a tip that a man had multiple children with his stepdaughter. That report would unravel a family and shake an entire community. Thank you for joining us here. I'm Jessica Shambach.
I'm Evan Onstadt. Tonight we are hearing for the first time from the adult children on life behind those closed doors, as well as the hero who would turn him in. KOCO's Kylie Thomas has the exclusive story you'll only see on 5.
This cul-de-sac in southeastern Oklahoma City looks like any other. But inside this yellow house was a man with a secret, and one woman would unearth the truth.
It just took someone paying attention. And believe it or not, he was telling on himself every single day. No one listened.
A family of 11 lived here, mom, dad, and 9 children, hidden away from the world.
They never left the house with only with him.
The children had never been to school, the doctors, or even a movie theater, all to conceal a secret they never knew was wrong: their dad's relationship with their stepsister.
Did you know that the younger kids were your dad's kids too?
That I already knew about. I never knew that it was anything wrong with it.
We just grew up like if it was normal to us.
Listen to them. Listen to their speech. How uneducated they are because they have not been to school. They haven't been to the doctor, all because the dad was with their stepsister. You have got to be kidding me. And they were like, we already knew about it. We thought it was normal. This is horrific.
12 years old, their oldest sister had her first baby with their dad, according to court documents. She gave birth to 4 more inside this home. KOCO sat down with 3 of the siblings who wanted to share their story.
So when she had her first baby, you were just little.
Yeah, I think I was 7 or 8.
Did you ever question why you guys weren't allowed to leave the house more?
Not too much, because Dad always said that he didn't want us to get hurt, or because he protecting us because of the people that are outside.
But that would all change.
I was looking for someone to paint the ceilings, and he answered the ad.
Doris Cole hired the father in 2017 as a contractor. She was opening several businesses at 10th and May.
They looked really crazy every day. The clothes, from the clothes that they wore, from the smell.
He started taking 2 of his teenage daughters to work, and Doris picked up on something she couldn't let go.
Okay, it goes without saying, Doris is the hero in this story. She was picking up on something. She knew the kids were not being taken care of, and she did what everyone should do: see something, say something.
They couldn't read, they couldn't write.
He tried to homeschool us, and then they went from trying to not doing.
And the speech was really bad. When I first met her, I thought she had an accent.
She would question the family's homeschooling, the father's persistent phone alerts, and the van packed full of food and clothing. But there was nothing overtly wrong.
Every day it was driving me insane because there's nothing I could do about it. It was nothing I had to tell the cops.
Until she met the stepdaughter.
The first time I met her was in the hallway. And I said, man, that girl looked like she just had a child. She was young. And he was looking at her as if she was some sort of candy. I started putting stuff together. I said, okay, maybe those kids are hers and his.
The family became distant. Doris believes it was because she was asking too many questions. But they came back 2 years later looking for work.
Now this time I said, okay, I'm not letting this guy get away until I figure out what's going on.
And this time, the father told her the truth.
He said, well, this is not my daughter, just one of the kids. This is my lover, and that's my wife.
Okay, so you get the gist, correct? I love the hashtag Be Like Doris. We have Doris with us today. We need more Dorises in the world. When she said, I said, okay, this time I'm going to find out what's really going on, and I'm not letting this guy get away with it. He's looking at his stepdaughter like she's a piece of candy, loving all over her. I've heard stories about how the girl had hickeys all over her neck. What is this? Junior high? Doris is a hero. She got to the bottom of it and got help. Now, I said 9 kids. At one time, they were all 9 kids, but they are young adults now. Well, adults. At the top, you can see I pinned how to help the family. Doris is not asking for anything, but of course, they need things. Also, scrolling here at the bottom, another way to help. So without further ado, let's bring up our hero. Hashtag be like Doris. This is Doris. Good morning, Doris.
Hi, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes. Can everybody hear Doris okay? You're loud and clear on my end.
Okay, okay.
What do you think about the hashtag be like Doris?
Well, I mean, it's okay. I'm not really thinking about, um, I didn't think that that video would go viral. Kind of threw me for a loop. We were just trying to see if he had any more kids out there. I didn't think it would go as far as it's gone. So I'm a little bit overwhelmed.
Let's get to the comments from the last show. I want you to see how much support that you have out there, just from this small community. And then we're gonna talk about your heroic actions. Is that okay?
Yes.
Our good friend and longtime member, Court K, said not only did Doris say something, he stuck around to make sure they got help and is actively helping them now. What an amazing lady. Their speech reminds me of the Turpin kids. Let's start with that. You didn't just make a call and walk away. You are currently in the kids' lives and helping them.
Yes, I am. Yes. Yes, I am. I'm definitely in their lives right now, helping them going to school, medical care. They have jobs. They work for me. As a matter of fact, they just showed up.
You've given them jobs. When I spoke to you, you have provided a home to them. You have rent houses.
Yes, I have rented a house. They live in one of my rental houses, and they also work for me. They were working for me before, but I paid the dad himself. Not until the last maybe 2 months, I made a agreement with him to pay everybody when they worked, because what I saw was I was giving him money. He wasn't giving the money to the people that was doing the work, which was his kids and his wife. So I made an agreement with them. If they work, I'm going to pay them. But then they would give the money to him. I would see it out of my window. I would pay them. They would actually get into that van and hand this guy their money. So I would ask them every day, "Are you keeping any money?" Well, we got to pay bills. Well, when do you get a chance to keep your money in your own pocket instead of giving it to your dad? I can see giving him a portion to pay some bills, but not everything that you make. And that's what they were doing.
That is exploitation.
100% it is. But he didn't care, as far, you have a group of people that the only way they get their information is from one person. I mean, everything they know is from him. So some of the conversations I would have with them didn't make sense about things that he said that they found to be true. I'm thinking, that's not right. That doesn't make sense. And who told you this? Of course, their dad did.
And again, they have not been to school. They have never been to the doctor.
No.
They thought it was perfectly normal that he was having babies with their sister.
Yes. Yes. Well, for them, that's all they know. That's the only life they've ever lived. So, I ask them every single day. I ask the same question. How do you feel now? How does being outside of your home, your dad and your mom not being here? And they say they feel free. This is the dad being with the sister has been there all their entire lives. She's 26 years old. So the other siblings besides the boy that's 33 they only know one thing. So to them, it was normal. They don't really look at it as my dad is with my sister. That's my dad's wife. Because after some time, he started calling her his wife, and that's what was more disturbing than anything else. I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
It is disturbing. Our
Yeah,
friend Anna Orlando said we need more people like Doris. You see something, say something. She's a loving lady. She's still involved with the older kids, helping them, teaching them to drive, having them work for her. Those kids have a chance for living a good life finally. We do have a question that was left in chat. Do they have any contact with their mother?
Yes. Now the mother, yes, she calls almost every day. She calls me almost every day. The mother is a different. They didn't talk about the mother on the interview. We didn't talk about her much. Except they asked the question: should she be? Is she a victim? And for years, I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what, but working with them every day, I started noticing things about the mother. She's not all there in her mindset. When you talk to her, she talks okay, but she's not there. She's like almost a child herself. So you can tell that everything that he's done, he already knew what type of person she was, and he was able to take advantage of her with her kids. So when there were times when I actually wanted to call the police, and I'm thinking, okay, if I call the police, this woman's gonna go to jail as well. I honestly didn't want her to go to jail at first. The more I think about it, the more it pisses me off, and then I'll flip back. But then she's a victim. But then she was also an adult, and she was there. And you let this happen to your 11-year-old daughter, So it's a sticky situation with her, as far as looking at her as a victim and looking at her as an accomplice. When she went to jail, the first week she was there, I literally was going to get her out. A bill was like 100,000, and then I said I'll get you out. But before I get her out, I needed an answer to a question that I had that was burning. Why did you let your husband sleep with your daughter? And the answers, they don't talk about this on TV. The answer that she gave me, and I said, don't ever say that to anybody else. She said that her daughter wanted it. I said, okay, okay. Now we're on the phone in jail, and they're recording everything. And I told her, I said, they're recording this. So whatever you say needs to be the truth, so you can save yourself, your kids, and throw your husband to the dogs. Seriously. And so she said, she kept saying her daughter wanted it. And I said, Maria, because at the time her name was Maria as well, but her real name is Emma. And I said, and I still call her Maria. And I said, Maria, that 11-year-old is not gonna want sex. They have no concept of what it is. She said, well, she wanted to be a surrogate mom. Okay, well, no 11-year-old is going to ask their mom, can I be a surrogate mom? Your question should have been, where did you hear that from? But she kept saying it. And I said, okay, let me ask you a different way. Whose idea was it for her to be a surrogate mom? She said, all of us. No. It had to come. Did all you guys sit down as a group and say, hey, we want she wants to be a surrogate mom? I said, no. Whose idea was it? Was it yours? Was it hers? Was it his? She kept saying hers. And I said, there's no way 11-year-old could have said that to you. No way. So then I said, okay, let me ask you another way. Did you say it to Tim, or did Tim say it to you? He said it to me. I said, okay, there we go. Okay. So he asked you if your daughter could be a surrogate mom. And what did you say? I said, no. I said, why didn't you take your daughter and run? You have this man that you're living with asking you, can you sleep with your daughter? You should have ran. Well, her response was, she wanted it, and he kept asking. And she finally gave in. But my thing to her, I said, well, maybe you should think about this in another way. Maybe she was pregnant already. He was sleeping with her, and that's the way he got you to agree to her agree to let him sleep with her. I said, okay, let's say you said it, okay, the first time. What about the other times? The time she got pregnant and the time she didn't get pregnant, that this man is sleeping with her.
Great point. Great point, because she didn't get pregnant the first time. No 11-year-old knows what a surrogate is. And for that matter, Emma, that's her real name, Emma Bevins, right? Bevins?
Yes, Emma Bevins.
And his name is Tim, the dad.
Yes, his name is Tim.
Okay, so if she is that childlike and that uneducated, she herself would not understand what surrogacy is.
100%. And that's why for us here, we always looked at her as a victim. So in the beginning, calling the police, I had conversations with the police. Are you actually going to take her? At first they said no, but once you lay the evidence down and not even looking at the mom or what mindset she's in, automatically she's going to. Even me, I flip back and forth because sometimes I'm like, I just can't fathom a woman, and I don't have any kids. So, but in any event, I'm still a woman. If I had a kid, I could not. If my husband asked me that, I can't even say on this interview what I would do to him. So for her,
you have kids now because you've taken it along. You didn't make a phone call and walk away and watch the lockup and say, all right, now you're safe. Momo Shark wants to know, as of today, what are their ages?
The boy is 33. The one with the kids is 26. Then you have a 23-year-old and one just turned 21. Now the kids, the grandkids, will be his kids. It would be his kids plus his grandkids, and it would be his daughter's brothers and sisters and cousins. Excuse me. So they're in DHS custody, and they're trying to, help her do things to get them back. But she has a long road. She has a long road ahead of her. It's not going to be easy for her to get those kids and to try to raise them. She's still a kid herself. So
and she's a victim. She was raped.
But they don't know that. They don't know that. When I tell you they don't know, I ask the same question every day. I mean, this is all they know. This is all they know. And so trying to do things different, trying to unbrainwash what someone's done for every year of their life since they've been on this earth, it is hard because some of the conversations that I have with them, some of the things they tell me, I can't do anything except stare at them. Like, are you kidding me? They've never been to a movie. They've been twice. The things that we take for granted, like being able at 18 to, hey mom, I'm going down the street, I'm going to the store. They can't do that. They've never been able to do that. So it's been a long haul for them. Right now they feel free and they're doing things that we do every day. School to school, they're rising in school. They started at beyond less than grammar school level in 5th grade. Now they're up 12, 7, 8, 9. One of them, they have driver's license already, but still has to get his GED. So the thing is, they wanted to learn. He hindered them. The 23-year-old was in my office one day, and we were counting money, and I looked at her and I said, you want me to help you know how to read? And she's like, please. That tore my heart out that she's saying, please, I want to learn. He hindered them every step of the way so that he can have control.
He groomed the entire family.
Yes,
now,
yes.
It turns out there are other children out there.
Oh yeah. He has one, and one of them just called me after the story came on the news, because she was in contact with the police and they told her. She called me the same day it came out, about midnight. She called But this sibling that's in Springfield, I was told when the dad went to jail, he was calling the kids at first and they cut off contact. So he can't contact them at all. So, but in the beginning, he asked them not to tell his family. I said, boo, I'm going to tell everybody in his family. So I spent nights trying to figure out where their families are, trying to bring them back together. I found their siblings in California on the mother's side, 3 daughters. They're in contact with them. And then the other one on the dad's side, I was told that they wanted nothing to do with them. I was told this right after he went to jail. So I left her a message on her Instagram. She probably didn't know who I was and didn't answer until she saw the video. And then she contacted me like, oh my God, can I contact my siblings? None of these children were able to talk to each other. The mother wasn't allowed to talk to her daughters without him standing there. He had to be present. So talking to the other kids, they're like, we stopped calling because we couldn't have a conversation with our mom in private. He controlled every aspect of everybody's lives, from what they ate, from what they wore, everything. And those are the things that I saw. And those are the things that I thought was disturbing. I would take them out to eat, and whatever he got, everybody got. And I said, okay, that's true. I said, so no one wants anything else? Nothing? And it was every single time. And I would question, like, why can't they order something that they want? Well, they can, but then they would all look at him and say, we want what he wants. He's here. If we all sat down and ate, no one could eat until this guy ate. And I'm thinking, are you crazy? And he one day we were actually building something outside. We were all eating. Well, I got food for us, and no one ate. He was standing right there fixing on the shelf, and I said, hey man, can you do that later so that these guys can eat? Oh, I'm almost done. And I'm looking at him like, you're gonna let your family sit here and starve while you try to put on a piece of wood that we can actually do later. It was the control. And that, there were so many times I had to just suck it up and not say anything crazy because he would run. So I have so many of those moments in here until I had to go home and say, oh, Jesus Christ, I just want to kill this guy. But you couldn't do anything.
And you're an outspoken, professional, educated, very smart woman. So that must have been really hard for you to hold your tongue, to sit there and look at that and say, okay.
I would go home and vent. It was extremely hard for a lot of years. And he was so arrogant with it. He would stand and this girl would come in with hickeys covered all over her neck almost every day from the time I met her. And then every time he would see somebody, he would grab her and start kissing on her and think, oh, Jesus Christ, I just want to just beat him in the head with a bat or something. There was nothing we could do. But every day I told my VP, I said, we got to get something on this guy. I mean, there was times, honestly, I'm just going to be honest, I wanted to get him drunk, send him to the store, call the cops. So at least if we could get him away from these kids, maybe we can find out what's really going on. But, it just wasn't happening. I took his wife one time to Walmart on her birthday, said, get whatever you want in here. She wanted her hair products and gave them to her kids. The last few months, he really started trusting me, dropping off his kids here and going to another job. And I said, oh, wow, he's dropping off his kids and he's not here. So I started talking more to one of them. I just started talking. I literally took one of his daughters out with his mom to see a show a friend of mine sent. And they were so like, oh my God, I've never been any place like this. Took them to Old Navy, bought a whole wardrobe, took him back to my house, took showers, changed clothes, and went out. He doesn't even know.
They had never been to a store. They had never gotten to pick out their clothes. He controlled their money, their food, what they wore, and it was basically slave labor. They would work and hand it over. It's exploitation.
Well, yeah, but they've been to stores. They've never, until now, they always shop at Goodwill. But they've been in store. Well, they went to Best Buy one time, they said, to get something for me. But they go to Lowe's all the time because they were in construction. But just to regular stores, like they go in grocery stores. Every once in a while, we'll take one of them shopping, but not like they've never been to the mall or anything like that, or they've never been at Old Navy or no. So, but in regular stores like 7-Eleven, some they go to places like that, dollar store, because they're always with him, but not on their own. Like we can get up and I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go shopping. No, they don't do that. They've never had that type of freedom. There was no, like the middle one. Well, the 23-year-old is one that we obviously thought for at least 3 years we looked for her. We thought she was kidnapped because she looks nothing like any of them. She's real pretty eyes, and we always thought she was kidnapped. Always, but she wasn't. I did a DNA. And that was her. I don't know if that's her dad, but that is actually her mother. 99.9%. That's her mom. So I stopped when I got that back. I stopped. I said I can't, because we were trying to lure her out of the house when they came back. She was 22, and I said, "You're 22. You can't. Well, let's go out. Let's go out. Let's all go out and have a good time." And she's like, "Well, I gotta ask my dad." I said, "You're 22. Why do you have to ask your dad? Why do you have to ask your dad?" I said, "You can't leave the house. Is the door locked?" She's like, "No." I said, "Okay." Well, and she was always, every day, there wasn't a day to go by that this girl didn't daydream and say, I'll be glad when I get out. Believe it or not, she was the one. We were working in my hallway, sanding down the windows, and she was standing next to me. She was the one that made me start paying attention. She kept daydreaming, and she was messing up the sanding. And I said, "Hey, girl, don't, you gotta say that someplace else." And she kept doing it, and she's just staring in his face. And finally, I said, "What's wrong?" She was supposed to be 16 at the time, and she's like, "Well, I'll just be happy when I get out." And I said, "Okay, well, we're not gonna be here that long." She's like, No, I told my dad I want to get out. I want to spread my wings." And I said, "Well, get out of where?" I said, "That's a weird type of that's just weird to say you want to get out. You want to go hang out." She's like, "No, I want to go places. I want to do things." And so I started asking her questions about what she wanted to do, and she's like, she doesn't know. She just wants to get out. And it was weird to me that, why are you saying you want to get out? So I just started paying attention to little things that he would say. We talked about, out of the blue one day, we were putting up sheetrock, and all of them was in a room with me, and out of the blue, the conversation came up of legal age in Oklahoma, of consent, and I said, "Okay." And while we're having this conversation, one, he brought it up, and then all the children chimed in. And I said, "Okay, why?" And you guys would know that why. I said, "Okay, this is weird." I said, "Okay, I don't understand why we're having this conversation," but I put it back in my mind. I said, "Okay, that's kind of weird that all of these guys know what consent is. I didn't even know that, and I live here. It's not a topic of a conversation that I have with anybody."
Now, that is very odd that they don't know how to read, minimal writing, they have no math skills, can't drive, don't have a checking account, but they at 11 years old, they understand surrogacy, and they know the age of consent in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well, because that's what he teaches them. These are the things that's on his mind all the time. I would find this guy in closets, on video, pulling up his pants. I'm like, "Hey, man." I mean, I understand. He was just a weird person. And for years, I just thought he was weird. But the little things, like, I saw his phone one day with a little girl on it. He said it was the one that has a baby. He said she was gay in the beginning when I met her. And I
She's
said,
gay?
No. This is the story. See, this is where I started paying attention after the girl told me she wanted to get out. We put up sheetrock. The age of consent came up, and then he talked about his 18-year-old, that's the mother of all his children, was gay. We were talking about that because I happened to have a girlfriend at the time. And he said, "Oh, my 18-year-old is gay." I said, okay. And I kept working. Then he said, "Oh, and she has a girlfriend in California." And what got me, and then he turned around and said, "They have 2 kids that adopted And I turned around and I said, why would they adopt 2 kids? She's 18 and the girl's in California. Well, that's what they wanted to do, and I was okay with it. I said, okay. Now, I didn't ask any of this. It's just, he just brought it up. And so I said, okay, that's kind of weird. Well,
He was trying to get ahead of the storm.
Well, yes, and he loves to talk. He loves attention. Well, a couple days later, I accidentally seen a picture of a girl on his phone. And he said, oh my God, you weren't supposed to see that. And I said, oh, he said, that's my daughter's girlfriend. I said, and she was in an awkward position, and I'm not going to say I'm here, but it was awkward. And I said, so your daughter lets you get pictures of her girlfriend? And he's like, no, we share phones. I said, that's weird. If she's going to send those kind of pictures, you think you should be sharing phones with your daughter? He's like, well, that's we want one bill. And then I said, okay, that was kind of weird. I said, in my mind, I said, this guy's a pedophile. Because there's no way. That's what I started thinking. I said, he's a pedophile. Something's going on. And then later on, a few weeks later, he said that the daughter had artificial insemination. And I said, that's not what you told me last time, Tim. No. I said, you told me they adopted. Now you're saying that she had artificial insemination. I said, which one is it? Because you can't afford either one. So these little things started adding up. I put it back in my mind. I said, okay, something's wrong with this guy.
And what a great point you made. You can't afford either one.
No.
You're taking money from your kids that they're earning to pay bills. And now you're talking about adoption, which costs money, even if it's within the family. And you're talking about artificial insemination, which is a bunch of money.
Yes. So all of it didn't make sense at all. It made no sense, but he just kept talking. He talked his way into, we were paying attention, you know? Everybody started paying attention to, everybody that came into the building was like, oh, that family's strange. So yeah, they're strange, but they're good workers. The kids worked. He would work. I'm a workaholic. I would show up at my building at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't have any kids. I would be here until 12, 1 o'clock that night. And he didn't show up until 11. And that was always an issue between me and him. I'm like, why do you not show up like regular contractors? We start at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh, well, I'm homeschooled. And I had to back off. I said, oh, man, I'm sorry. I said, you know what? I apologize. So get here whenever you can. But when I started noticing that his kids couldn't read or write, I said, wait a minute. How's he homeschooling? So I started asking, when they would come in, I would ask them, did you guys have school today? Oh, no, my dad was tired. And I wouldn't say anything to him. I would just look at him because you got here at 12 o'clock, but you told me you was homeschooling your kids. They tell me that, no, he was tired. So I said, okay, he's not homeschooling these kids because they can't read or write. So what is he really doing? This guy he was a sex addict. He had ads all over Craigslist, him and his wife. It was just really weird. He left his phone here one day, and the manager started looking at it, and I said, oh my God, I'm just floored, and I'm embarrassed for them. Yeah, it was a lot of weird things, but the kids, sometimes he wouldn't bring the girls. We would worry that maybe one of them was pregnant. One of them, one of them we gave a cell phone to, which is a 23-year-old. At the time, she had just turned 18. He took the phone and gave her a raggedy phone and said, well, she only wants to listen to music. And plus, she's only 16. She's standing right there. And I said, I thought she was 18. And she did too. She said, Dad, I thought I was 18. He's like, you're 16. And I said, well, how many times is she going to be 16, Ted? At some point in time, I started getting a little more verbal. I started asking more questions, and that's when he started leaving. He said he couldn't clean the building anymore full time. He had to do something else. And so he wasn't gone. He was gone for 2 years, but I still had contact with him. I would periodically call him and say, hey, I got a house for you. Can you come do this house for me? Oh, he would come give me a bid, but wouldn't show up. And if he showed up, it was only him and his wife, none of the kids.
Because he knew you were on to him.
Yeah, because I would ask where the kids at. Oh, well, they're at another job. I said, oh, you finally got smart and started dropping him off. I said, that makes sense. But I'm trying to get him to come back and work for me full time so that I can monitor those kids, because we thought that maybe the girls were pregnant. There was no way, there was nowhere for us. I had an address, but I never went to his house. I didn't know what jobs he worked on. He had cameras all around his house. So if I went to his house, he's going to know that I'm there. So we've never gone to his house. I would just call him at least a couple times a week. We would have contact. He would drop by, see how I was doing. So at least I knew he was still in Oklahoma.
Now I have a question. Why all the security? What was he so paranoid about? Don't get me wrong, we have a security camera, but I don't feel the need to have it at every corner of the house.
Well, honestly, I don't know why they had that issue. Honestly, well, I mean, why he had all those cameras, but then again, now you know why.
We know why. Because no one's going to steal from him. I mean, hell, they had a toilet in the front yard.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
I have a question from Christina. Now, this is in regards to who is now 26, the mother, the stepdaughter that was groomed, AR'd. Is she capable of caring for the kids?
Which one?
The one that Tim started having a the one that Tim started estimating at the age of 11.
Yes and no. Yes and no. She's getting a little bit better, but not a whole lot. I mean, she's getting better. I mean, she has a long road ahead of her. She has a lot of things that's going on right now. She has to learn how to read and write in order to be able to help her kids. So she's getting there. I think once she at least gets a GED, she might be better equipped to take care of her kids. You know, some of the things that they've been taught, it's been taught across the board with the kids, from the adults. So the system has to make sure that her mindset is not like it was when those kids were taken.
Now, is this true, or is this just a rumor that she is still in love with her stepfather?
I can't answer that. Yeah, I think I can't answer that.
Okay, don't answer that, because she doesn't understand love. She doesn't understand love, and all she knows is how she's been groomed.
Yes, that's it. She doesn't understand anything else outside of that.
Let me rephrase. That was a rude way to put it. Is she protective of him?
They all are.
They all are. Okay.
And the reason being, they don't, because they don't understand what they've been through. That's what I told you. Every day I ask questions. Every day I drill them. Every day I ask, are you still mad at me? Because they were pissed at me. That was a very hard thing to do. So trying to get them to understand what you guys have been through is a really hard task. So I'm not trying to make them hate him at all. I'm trying to get them to understand what he's done. You know, I'll ask them questions like, okay, is it okay for a grown man to be with a child? No. So if a grown man messes with a child and this against the law, is he guilty? Should he go to jail? Of course. Okay, well, is it okay for Tim to be with your sister? And they all pause. Across the board. They all pause. And I'm like, is he guilty? Okay, close your eyes, think about the question I just asked. Take him out, take your sister out. Is he guilty? Yes. Okay then. They can't put it together. They can't put it together. It's a hard thing for me because now I'm more verbal. than I was before. I talked to him on the phone in front of them and told him exactly how I felt. And every moment I looked at you, this is how I felt. So they know exactly how I feel. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't hide anything from them. I'm perfectly honest with them about everything because they've been lied to since they were born. Some of the stories I can't even tell you here that they told me that I just look at them and my heart just breaks. Because how dare you treat another human being in this way? I mean, some of the things this guy's done is like freaking crazy. He's a monster in every sense of the word. He is a 100% a monster. And I hope they never let him out.
And I'm glad you brought that up because he is still in jail. He has some really, really stiff charges on him.
Yeah, he's not here. And believe it or not, he calls me and asks me when I'm going to get him out. I'm like, if that was 5 cents, I wouldn't get you out. Are you crazy? He literally calls me and asks me to bond him out. I'm thinking, okay, this guy has to be crazy. Seriously. Sometimes I start laughing, and then the other times I'm like, oh, he just lose my number. Yeah, it's crazy. His wife, though, I'm still straddling the fence. Those kids miss her. But at the same time, she hasn't been a mother. You know, I told her, you know, hey, you got to testify against this man. You have to, I said, now is the time to step up and you become a mother to your kids. You need to stay. They protect her way too much.
Do you think Emma will testify against him? And how about the one that he essayed and got pregnant? Do you think they'll testify against him?
At this point, they're not wanting to, but I hope they change. And I hope things change. And I hope I just hope it changes. Um, yeah, I hope it changes and it gets a little better. I do like a 2-second break to let my employees in.
Because he's, I mean, in Oklahoma, he's probably looking at life in prison.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Yes. Yes.
Do we know about her, about what kind of time she's looking at?
Yeah, but you have to think she's gonna have to be doctored and she's not mentally stable. I'm gonna be honest with you, both of them are probably in this thinking, why am I in here? He says he's innocent. I'm like, you got 5 kids to show that you're not innocent. Her, she's oblivious to what's going on around her. This when I tell you, if you ever met her and you sat in front of her, she is space. She is space. She's always been that way. So even talking to her, she hasn't been 100% there. You can literally ask if she's like, let's say she's mopping the floor, and you say, okay, don't mop right there anymore. She just keeps doing it until you walk over and grab the mop. Her mindset is space. Probably because of what happened to her daughter. She's watching her daughter get raped by her husband, and she probably just lost it. She's not there.
Well, and I mean, I don't know how long you've lived in Oklahoma, if you're a lifetime Okie or if you moved here. It's really hard to play the mental health card in Oklahoma.
Well, part of me hopes it's not, and part of me with Emma, if you knew her, the day that they came to get her was so heartfelt. Everybody that was down there working with her hugged her, crying. It was crazy, emotional when the police picked her up. And because she didn't go with him, it was a couple weeks later. And I said, oh my God, even me, I didn't want her to go. But at the same time, she needed to be in a place like that to realize what we've done to this child. Not only her, but the other siblings. He was starting to touch his own grandkids. So it's like, come on. At some point, when does anybody in the house wake up and say, hey, this is wrong? Nobody, actually, even adult kids. And I told them, I said, you guys are lucky you're not in jail with everybody else because you're adults. And you were in the house. Why didn't somebody stop it? Nobody thought it was wrong. That's the crazy part. That you have all these adult children in the house and no one thought that that was wrong. That was crazy. Can I have 2-second break to open my doors?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Doris is a hard working lady, let me tell you. She works all the time. By the time we get out of bed, she's probably already got 3 hours of work in. And it's always the people that have the most to do that do the most. The people that have very little time to contribute, they find a way to make it work. I love that hashtag, be like Doris. Yes, Christina, he was going for the grandkids. And Doris put a stop to it. We have covered a lot of cases on this channel, and I will say we have never, ever come across someone as amazing as Doris.
Hello. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm back.
Oh, no, you're fine. We're going to shut it down here in a second because I know you're a busy lady and you have work to do.
Everybody, let me just open it up right now.
Okay, you just let us know.
Okay.
You have a lot of accolades in here. People want to know how to help. It is pinned at the top how you can help the family. It's scrolling across the bottom. Doris isn't asking for anything, so no, Doris got money. Okay.
I'm sorry. Well, yeah, you know what? The thing is, when we started, a guy that works for my foundation put up a GoFundMe. He was asking for $250,000. I said, we don't need $250,000. I've done a lot of the footwork of getting in school, the state with student care, them going to school. It didn't cost money. They live in one of my places, but it's 2 bedrooms. So I'm looking for housing for them to be able to get the boy in his own, because he's 33, maybe the 2 oldest children in an apartment or a house of their own. But I'm a real estate investor. So I'm still looking for little places that I can put them in, because that was the only house that I had besides a 4-plex that has to be rehabbed. I'm thinking, well, I can get donations and rehab 4-plex, put them all in there, they have their own apartment. But that's a long ways out. So, but I have a lot of people asking, so we're going to figure out what they need. I mean, they have an abundance of clothes. People donate clothes to us every single day. Food, all of that stuff is covered. We were looking for a speech pathologist, hoping that interview would help. Maybe someone would volunteer. We need volunteers for time, for tutoring, for reading, for writing, so that they're going to school 3 days a week, but we need some fast track to get them out there, to get them prepared, because now they're anxious to get out into the world and live their lives. But for me, it's scary because they can't read and write, and I don't want anybody to take advantage of them. So even if people donated money, that money would go into an account of theirs, and when they need it, they can pull it and use it. Nothing that we did. I don't need any money.
Christina Laska said vocational rehab will give speech pathology. And also, you probably have already thought about this. You've tried, pretty much anything I've brought up, you've already, gone down that path. But Oklahoma University, right there by you, they have a great speech pathology program. Now, they're students, but they volunteer a lot of time.
Oklahoma University, OU?
Yeah.
Right down the street from, okay. And we can get those in those classes for free?
But they're going to be taught by students, people that are working on their PhD, their masters and stuff like that.
That's okay. Yeah, you know what? Right now, that's okay. The people in here that work with me, they volunteer and do things all the time. Well, I'll take an hour and I'll sit down with them and go over money or read this book with them. For Christmas, I mean, this is the first Christmas they ever actually ever had. They had Christmas, but they said some years we had Christmas, some years we didn't celebrate Christmas. So it was whichever way the wind blew with the dad. So this year we gave them an unbelievable Christmas at my home. And it was, I mean, just the amount of gifts that they had just from people around us.
Amazing. So they actually had a Christmas. They had a meal.
Yes,
Opened presents.
Christmas is my favorite time of year. I'm a giver, so it's like, hey, yes, we were all at my home this year. Had a great Christmas. So for them, and then the siblings, the ones that are in foster care, they have abundance of gifts that the mother has to take to them. But as far as the adults, 100%. The smiles and just looking at them, opening those gifts of something they've never had before. I can't even explain the satisfaction of watching this. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was very nice. Very happy time yesterday.
And as much as it tickled your heart, imagine how it made them feel. They probably never had a present to ever unwrap before.
No, they didn't, because I asked. I said, so did you guys give each other's gifts? No, we didn't. So they were buying, every time they get paid, I take it to the store, hey, make sure you get new clothes, because they've never been able to go to the store. They went to a Goodwill. So some of the clothes that we gave them had tags on it because people donated clothes. I had a closet full of clothes that they can wear that have tags on it. But to walk into a store and buy your own is totally different. So they do that on Friday. So they started buying gifts for each other, and they said it felt good that they've never been able to do that. So yeah, it was hard. Warmed my heart.
Now, not to change the subject or go back to this, but Oklahoma University, of course, they're shut down for the holidays right now. But like Christina said, students need clinical hours. And so if you get on that list and especially tell them about the news story, you can use this link as well. I'll find out about that and I will send it to you for sure.
Oh, thank you. Ooh, I appreciate that, because that's the missing piece for us, to be able to get them. I mean, you heard the videos, and that was really good. They actually did good, because sometimes I can see the look on people's face when they're talking, because they love to talk. They're just like their dad. They like to talk to everybody. And I can see the look on people's face when they say, okay, I don't understand what she's saying. Because it's hard. It took me a long time to think, what are they talking about? But once you're around them for a long period of time, you start to pick it up and say, okay, I get it. But, one of them needs braces, so I'm looking for a dentist that would get braces for her, and I think that would help a lot. I mean, he gave them the boy and the youngest girl, they snuck and taught themselves how to read and write. So the boy does real well. The 21 that just turned 21, she's going to get her license. She knows how to read and figure out money because she snuck around and taught them.
And also the dental school at OU, they do a lot of dental work there as well. And with the Sooner Care, you can see about their orthodontics program to see if they will do braces.
Oh yeah. See, because we have them in a dentist now. That they have all the other stuff. They don't do braces, and she actually needs braces really bad. I can't believe that they've never been. And imagine the ones that were born at home never had medical care, and that's probably why a couple of them are nonverbal. I mean, they're verbal, but you can't understand it. And he didn't. I mean, how do you not think that something's wrong with that as a parent?
Mm-hmm.
Babies are supposed to develop at certain stages, even though I don't have one, I know that. So at certain times, if they're not doing certain things, then it's like, okay, something's wrong with my child. Then you take them to the doctor. He was like, the first time I ever heard that he was a doctor was after he was gone. I said, what do you mean? The guy's never been to medical school, but that's what they thought. He told me he was a doctor or an IMSA or something like that.
What is he doing telling those kids he's a doctor?
Because that's how he gets away with touching them privately. That's how he got away with it. He would take the young ones out in the dark and then do whatever he's going to do, examine them and give them a lollipop and say, they went to the doctor.
You saved them all, Miss Doris. Yes, you are right, Pat. You are right. What was the breaking point that got Oklahoma City PD to not just look at them as adults, but as victims?
I can't answer that because I don't know. See, the thing, before Oklahoma police, before they came out, when I made the phone call, because I called before, but I didn't know what to report. I didn't know what I was reporting. I was just aggravated and pissed off. I keep seeing these hickeys, and I called. And one time I was on hold so long, people started coming to my office. I had to hang up. Then I called back again. Well, what did you? I don't know what I reported. But this one particular day, when I think I was mad about him getting here late, we were having an event. He was supposed to be working it, and he got here late. And then he wasn't staying. He was leaving, dropping off two of his kids, and he leaves and he's standing in front of my window, kissing, just slide. I said, you know what? Okay, I'll please one more time. But right now I'm doing it, and I did it, and I happened to get this lady on the phone that was so disturbed about what I was saying. I thought she was gonna come out here. She was like, "Where's he at right now?" I said, "He's leaving." I said, "But he's coming back because two of his kids are here." I said, "Can someone come out?" She's like, "Well, I don't know," but she said, I'm gonna write this up." No one ever asked to write it up, but she did. She said, "I'm gonna write this up. You tell me." And she wanted to know the license plate, everything. And I said, "He just drove off. I don't know, but I gave you the color of the van, his name, everything." And she did it. And it took a week or so, I think, before an officer called me back. And I said, "Why?" Somebody called me back. And I talked to him, gave him more information. He said he had to give it to the detective. And I said, okay, that's not enough, kid. I said, can someone just come out, not dressed like a police, and observe him? They said, because they needed to see something. I said, well, come out, observe him. I guarantee you're going to see him slopping all over this girl that looks like she's 12. And they said they couldn't do it. I said, okay, well, now I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Well, a few weeks later, I think the detective was on vacation and they gave it to. He finally called me back, and I started vomiting at the mouth. I'm all over the place. And he's like, "Miss Cole, what are you trying to report?" And I said, "I don't know. Either she was kidnapped, or I know he's raping her because she had to be young. According to the kid's age, she had to be 12 or 13, and so." And the police really didn't have anything, but he said that he'll come out and question the thing. And he did. A couple of days later, him and another a woman officer, came out, questioned everybody. They came out to my office. They went in one of my offices, and right away, Tim started getting anxious. We were outside in the back, setting up for an event, and he was like, "Doris," he said, when I told him, I said, "There's police here looking for you." I said, "What's going on?" I said, "They want to talk to you." He's like, "What?" He got real nervous and he started walking up the back steps. And he said, "If I go to jail, are you going to bond me out?" And I said, "Sure, I'll bond you out." I said, "But why would you go to jail? What have you done? What have you done to make you go to jail?" I said, "I don't understand him." He's like, "I'm just saying, boss, if I go to jail." And I kept asking him, "What was it?" He didn't know that it was me. He had no idea that I brought the police here. So when he came in, they questioned every single person, and when every single person left, the police said every single one of them lied. I said, I told you. I said it was so whatever they said in there, whatever they said to the police, got them to actually start paying attention to them and what was going on in this family's life. So I had no idea what the tipping point was. No whatsoever. Oh wow, we got custom. Okay. So
Well, all in all, you did everything you could do and more.
well, yeah, there's still things that I have to do to see this all the way through and make sure that they get the education they need, make sure that they're set up in life so that, uh, they're not looking at right now. For them, they think they trust everybody, kind of. They're like little kids. So little kids trust everybody, and that's how they are. And I'm just hoping that they don't meet the wrong person to take them back to the same place that they were before. And it's easy.
And that's what would worry me, because with their mindset and what they have been through, it wouldn't take much for someone to reprogram to another direction.
Yes, yes. So right now, it's in the beginning. I was real. How can I say it? Like not overprotective, but I was there all the time. Right? I picked them up. They worked with me all day. I took them home. I was there for a while. On the weekend, it was just overwhelming. I lost a relationship because of it, because I was so in tune to helping this family. And now, as they grow and start doing things and learning, I back up a little bit because I can't replace myself with their dad being this overprotective person, but it would be a different type of protection. But still, I didn't want to be that overbearing. So I had to back up a little bit, let them do their own thing. They have driver's license now. Before he had the driver's license, I started telling them, you need to Uber to get to work or take a bus. But then I was scared to put them on the bus, so they Ubered every day. Yeah, they Uber to work every day, and um, started. Now they have a car, they have a van, but we're trying to. That's one of the things that we raise money. We're going to get them a couple of new cars because the van gives me the creeps every time I see it pulling my parking lot. That's the van that they drove, and they're still driving it.
Absolutely amazing. But the thing is he doesn't need to have any contact with them or any child ever again.
Yes, 100%. Okay, I need to
Ever.
open my doors. Can you give me a second?
Yeah.
I need to unlock my doors. That customer's coming in.
Absolutely heartbreaking and heroic. And now they're having to navigate in a world that's scary enough for us with an education that understands there's 4 quarters to a dollar. Imagine them trying to navigate through the world when all they have known is what this deviant has told them. That's the only thing they've ever known. Dolores says they have to be deprogrammed, Brooks. Yes, they do. They 100% have to be deprogrammed. Doris has customers coming in now, so when she gets back on, we're going to tell her thank you for all she's doing and do an update show sometime. Would that be okay with all of you?
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm back.
Oh, no, you're fine. You are fine. We know you are a busy lady, and we knew that you were opening your store. We thank you for your time. Because as I said earlier, it's the people with the least time that do the most.
And mine is very sparse. I don't have that much time at all. I can't believe I was able to do this with the time, the little bit of time that I had, but it was important. It was important, and it consumed a lot of me, consumed a lot of my time. And now that it's not over, it's actually just beginning, which is really crazy. You know, even though we knew, and I used to talk to my VP all the time, it's like, okay, we didn't plan very well for the aftermath.
How could you?
Because I didn't know. All I thought about was getting him away every single day. And then when it happened, the day that everybody, I was at the house and I left once everybody was gone. And there was one older sibling and children that was actually going to DHS. Told the police to lock up the door when they leave, and I left. I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock-ish. One of the adult children called me, and I said, "Where are you?" "Oh, we're at home." And I said, "Who? Who?" I said, "Who's there?" He said, "Everybody." I said, I said, "Where's your mom?" "Mom is here too." I said, "Oh my God." I said, "Okay, I'll be there in a few minutes." So I go over there, and everybody's just there. It's like a surreal moment that I'm standing there without him, with all these kids and the mom. And my mind is like, okay, what in the hell are we gonna do now? I didn't think past this. So I said, I tell you what, come to the shop in the morning, and then we'll all figure it out. You guys have jobs, don't worry about it now. You can be able to pay the bills, which they don't have any because they've been paying the bills at the house. So I said, just come to work and we'll figure it out. You already have jobs. We'll go back to those jobs. And from there, we'll get everything figured out. And they said, well, how do we get there? And I said, okay, I'll pick you up. I can only put 4 or 5 in my truck. Yeah, 4 in my truck. And we got a couple of girls from here to pick up one. And, so we did that for a while. I can't have other people to do that with their time, so I figured it out. Some people did it, or I had to make 2 trips. You know, I'm not a person to ask for help unless I absolutely need it. And I didn't want their entire lives, they've been living in cars, living outside, never really, not to Oklahoma, did they have a home that they can call home. And I didn't want to send them backwards by having you know, I don't want to teach them how to live on the system, because I've never lived on the system. I've always worked. So I'm going to try to, teach them that, not to live. Your dad was always begging, and that's probably one of the reasons I didn't do the GoFundMe, because I didn't want them to, you're doing okay. You're being able to take care of yourself, doing things that you need. So there's no reason to actually be begging for money unless you absolutely need it.
But you've given them life skills. You've given them employment. Now I have a question. Quinny wants to know, what kind of store do you have, and do you do online sales?
Well, I have 2 of the businesses I can't really talk about on here. that I'm involved in, but I have a vape shop. We have some online sales. I have a t-shirt shop where we make t-shirts. We do a lot of big orders in my t-shirt shop. And I have a small coffee shop we opened in the building. All my businesses are in one building. But if you go on our website, there's a place where there's a t-shirt that I created.
What is the website?
It's mylifeafterok.org. And there's some t-shirts halfway down that I made years ago when there was a bunch of stuff going on with Black Lives Matter and different things. And so I made these t-shirts that says, "Your life matters to me." And we use those t-shirts, we sell them, and we use the money, we give a portion to the Y for women that are victims of domestic violence. And so you can buy a t-shirt or buy a t-shirt to send to somebody. And by those t-shirt sales, we'll put that money and it'll go to something to help the kids, whatever things that they need. So that's the only online sale that I actually do. Everything else is here. But we will.
You are an inspiration to us all. We say on this show all the time, see something, say something. You didn't just see something and say something. You are following up and going above and beyond. And my hat is off to you. I'm proud to know you. Never met anyone like you. Never.
It's kind of weird, but it's working.
Now, we would like to do a follow-up show with you, an update show. Would you be okay with that? We'll do it earlier in the morning so we don't cut into your work day.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Well, today, my work day today is a little weird because it's the day after Christmas. I've had several call-ins because I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? And so I wouldn't have to answer the door. I wouldn't have to do some of the things I'm doing, but those people called in. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so it's okay. The 8 o'clock is fine because I'm usually in here in my office already and already have a full staff. I don't have a full staff today.
Well, do you want to say maybe next week or the week after we can do an update show and get more questions together, ones that we can, talk about on here?
Sure.
Well, God bless you, Doris, and thank you for what you're doing. The world needs more Dorises. Everyone, let's have a huge round of applause. Please share this. The website, mylifeafterok.org. Let's have a big round of applause for Doris. Doris, I will text you after the show, and no hurry getting back with me because I know you're a really, really busy lady. But I'm telling you what, you have inspired all of us. And in the world we live in and the cases we cover, it's a little hard to inspire this gang. Let me tell you, we've seen some nasty stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? Sometimes I want to see the good in everybody. There's some good in all of us. Sometimes, even I'm going to say this, and people may not like it with 10. I saw some good in that guy, but he just didn't know how to use it. He was very manipulative. I can't say it. Manipulated, and he was all about him. There's some other videos that have made surface about him that I just actually saw. I didn't know the man had a YouTube channel. And I was disturbed by some of the videos that are on there. And when I watched them over the weekend, and I was in awe that this guy actually had this channel out. With all the things he's doing, you want people to know who you are. That's how, in plain sight, this guy is hiding. Because if you met these young adults, you would say, man, they are well mannered. far as some kids that I know that have freedom, that are not as well mannered. But for me, I used to think it was a smoke screen. I said, that's a smoke screen that he's doing because he taught them how to steal in plain sight. And I used to call him out on it. I'm like, stop teaching your family how to steal because that's not cool. But the mannerism and everything that he taught them, you didn't know what they were doing in the background because all you saw was, wow, these kids are well mannered. And he taught, he was honestly kind of, he was smart and dumb at the same time.
Well, he, like you said, he was smart and dumb at the same time. He knew how to manipulate whatever situation he was in to get what he wanted.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Well, Doris, we're going to send you off to your day. I know you had a Merry Christmas and you provided a wonderful Christmas to the people that you saved. Again, our hats off to you. God bless you. Prayers for the victims. And thank you so much for what you did. And not just making a phone call, but following up.
Thank you. Thank you, and I look forward to the next show.
We look forward to it too, Doris. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right.
I tell you what, we have met a lot of people over the years, have we not? And this isn't, you can't really compare cases and stories of heroism. But Doris is always, always, always going to stand out. Always. And I can tell you, I have a feeling we're going to be friends with Doris for a long time. She is a very special lady. Like I said, she didn't just make a phone call and say, oh, well, they won't do anything and went about her way. No, she made sure something was going to get done and has taken the victims under her wing. We're not talking about just getting them some clothes, which that is God's plenty. Teaching them to read, write, checking accounts, drive, just simple navigational tools in this world. She is the real deal. And I tell you what, you guys are the real deal too, because you're always here for the right reasons. Proud to know each and every one of you. Thank you, CR, for the donation to the channel. Love you. CR is the best Avon representative in the world and friend. So you guys, if you don't mind, please share this. Please, please, please share this story, the website, and let's get some help over there. Let's get some help for them. It is horrific what they went through. The grooming, the essay, the manipulation. Like she said, one thing that really caught me in that interview is she said they've been lied to their whole life. That's why she said, I don't lie to them. I'm not going to hide anything from them. She doesn't want to talk bad about their dad or their mom. They're going to figure all that out on their own. I truly believe that, if they haven't already. But you guys are the absolute best. Thank you, Mod Squad, for keeping the chat going as you always do. The coolest way we can. Tough subject, but amazing, amazing woman that came on to share her story. We're going to follow up with Doris next week or the week after. It's up to her. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your Taco Tuesday. Cleaning up from Christmas. Getting back into the groove of things, which is the hardest thing to do after Christmas, besides taking down the tree. And I will see you guys back here at our regular time, 9 a.m. tomorrow. It's already hump day. Woo!
Where's the hump day?
Where's what, Gregory?
The hump day.
The hump day?
Yeah.
That'll be tomorrow on hump day.
Okay.
Thank you, Gregory. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Love you, love you, love you.